What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and in today's video I'm going to share with you 5 tips if you feel like you're getting behind in Bloodline Heroes of Lithas. But first, download Gemstone Legends, a mobile RPG puzzle match game. Use the link in the description to start with free stuff, including a bonus hero. Alright, so just by the nature of gacha games, which is the genre that Bloodline belongs to, they're going to make you feel discontent, like you're having a hard time keeping up. And that's on purpose to make you keep progressing in the game, or if you're a spender, to keep spending in the game. But if you're feeling particularly discouraged today, I hope that I can give you some tips that are going to help you with this. Now, you've got to change one of 2 things or both. And the first is, if you are actually getting behind, then you need to change something you're doing to catch up. So I've got some things to help you with that. Or you've got to change your mindset and just kind of realize that, well, if everybody feels behind, then nobody's really behind, right? Well, let me start with some of the logistical tips to help you catch up if you really feel like other people are progressing faster than you. The first one is, a strength of Bloodline is that you don't ever really lose your resources. You can get them back, and that's not true of many other games that I've played. So the first tip is to feed your old champions to new ones. For example here, we just got a brand new champion as of the filming of this video, which was Male Water and Sun, and he's absolutely incredible. So I'm trying to push him and I'm trying to level him up as much as I can, but I'm limited by my resources. Well, I have plenty of champions that I've leveled up over time, and that some I use and some I don't use. So when you have some that you don't use, like maybe they're not even that good in the districts. Maybe you've been holding on to them simply because over here in the districts, they're making you some money. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not that hard to feed away one of your champions that's not even making a whole lot of money, and then put one in that is going to make more. So, for example, in here, I have found that my Yivnians, the mythic level Yivnians, which I've leveled up through intimacy, make a lot of gold. So I can just feed away champions I don't use anymore, that might be a good candidate. You can see I have a female Divala here that's actually not making all that much gold, and I still use her, but she's here on the chopping block because soon enough I'm not going to be using this female Divala much anymore. I do have another female Divala that's much more highly leveled, by the way. But once you feed gold to the Yivnians here, they make a lot more gold than the champion that's just wasting space here anyway. So let me show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to go back into my roster, click on my Male Water and Sun, and I'm going to go ahead and marry a champion I just don't really use, and that would be this female Parade. You can see I've got her at level 120, not very highly leveled, haven't given her many stars, but she does have 13 vigor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to marry her to the Male Water and Sun because all that vigor is going to transfer over, and then I'm going to get that gold back. So it is so worth it for me to do this. As you can see, the vigor transfers over, so now my Male Water and Sun is stronger, and when I go back to my inbox, there's the gold that I had originally spent on Parade, but I've got that back, so now I can go into Male Water and Sun and then feed that gold to him as well. Tip number 2 is to be active in the events that give you the best rewards. So I wanted to give you an idea of what some of those are. Sometimes you're going to see that at the top tab there. A particularly good one is the Eyes of the Abyss, because when you play that, you get lots of gold, and you need that gold to level your champions, and you're going to hit a critical mass of that gold where you can just keep transferring it to the new champions that come out. But there's plenty of good events in here that give good rewards. Probably one of the best events is the Guild Conquest event. So if your guild can be active enough for you to have multiple players who are playing this, the rewards are just absolutely incredible in this one. So I'm going to click on it to just show you. You get lots of mythic equipment, skill books, gold, and then especially the glory coins that you need for Bloodcraft champions that are some of the best in the game. Valley of Conquest comes with fantastic rewards as well. You can see here you actually get free summons, and it's like a lot of summons in addition to mythic equipment that's making your champions stronger, and you've got your construction plans here for your districts and things like that. And then also Dungeon Descent, because there's a lot of free things in Dungeon Descent, like roses and wedding rings that you need for your increased vigor. But you can also buy very, very cheaply things like increased intimacy or charm and orbs and so on and so on and so on. The third tip is to set a plan and stick to it. I think one thing that can cause players to really get behind is if their discontent leads them to hop around to a number of different champions, only sort of leveling each, and then not really having any strong champions for a main comp. So think about what champions you want to put together and then work on leveling those. Your main comp should be your main priority. Now, new champions are probably going to come out faster than you can level the old ones, unless you're using that method I talked about in tip number 1 and you have enough resources for that. And what that's going to lead you to do is feel like you need the new best champion. So then you abandon the one you were just working on for the new one, but you can't just keep doing that because you're never going to have a strong team. So think about which champions you want to put together, then level them, and try to block out what's going on with other champions in the game and other teams and things like that as you're working on your plan. Only pivot if a champion comes out that is an absolutely must-have. The fourth tip is to be open to advice. There's a lot of players in this game. There's a lot of great, helpful players in the community, both on Discord and in the chat in the game. And people have a lot of different strategies that you can pull from. Now, if you're like just not going to take any advice and just try to do it on your own, my guess is you're probably not going to progress as far as you could if you were open to hearing what other people are going to do. And you know what? Sometimes there's multiple correct paths to get to the same point. And so that doesn't mean because sometimes you hear conflicting things from various players that it's wrong. Think about what you're hearing from various players that might fit into your personal strategy, and then try to employ it and see how it goes. And lastly, number 5, focus on strengthening your own roster. Try not to compare yourself to other people. And it's the same kind of thing that happens when you're on social media. This is more of a psychological tip, but whenever you see other people's posts, the things that they're doing, vacations they're going on, it looks like everybody else is leading this amazing life and yours sucks. But in reality, everybody's life is just kind of okay, right? Some people's better than others, but whatever. Like, not one person can have it all, right? You can't go on all the vacations of all the people that you're seeing on social media. And the same thing is true in Bloodline. Just because some people have a really good champion or team or traits that they've been able to put on a champion, they haven't been able to do everything in the game. Now listen, I know there's a handful of players who have been in this game since the very, very beginning, and they have an enormous amount of resources, and it looks like they're so far ahead. How could you possibly catch up? But that's not most people. Most people are chugging along just like you are, and they're just okay. Now, I have been playing this game for a while now, so you can see I've got a really good looking roster, but even I feel behind because once I jump into Valley of Conquerors or Guild Conquest, I'm up against people with teams that are like 10 million, 20 million, 40 million, sometimes 100 million stronger than I am. And so you're always going to feel that in this game. If you just compare yourself to the people you get matched up against, of course you're going to feel like you're behind at times. But just think about it like with the social media thing. Not everybody can have everything. Most players are where you're at. There's other players who started since you've started and are newer, and maybe they are further behind than you. And there's other players that have been in the game longer and they're further ahead, and it's just the way it is. So if you can change your mindset a little bit, it's going to give you more longevity in this game to understand that everybody is fighting the same kind of fight to progress, and If you take some of the tips that I gave you today to be more efficient with your resources and your time, you're going to find that you have more fun with this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.